All right, we are live. Good morning, everybody. Steve Moran here with my good friend Doug, the BTC guru, Yates.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing great. Got in late last night from Palm Springs. I forgot what driving back on a Sunday night. It seems like, with COVID done, more people are trying to get back into LA. So there's a lot of traffic going back there.
Oh,
Had a real fun trip. My big tournament was on Saturday and Sunday, and I just couldn't get out of my own way the first 5 holes.
Really?
The first 5 holes has been like killing me.
I've got a high of that albatross, I think.
Yeah, well, what happened is, the high of that albatross. I was so excited from that whole deal, right? I literally couldn't even sleep the next day, that night, right? So when I talked to you guys when I was driving out to the tournament, when I got there on Friday morning, I'm out there, I am freaking tired, right? I'm really tired, and it was like 90 degrees. So again, I started off again bad out there, first 5 holes, and played good. So then I had the other tournament. I started off the first 5 holes, both times, and I just dug a hole. And so I got done yesterday, and I was real close towards coming to the end. I thought I was going to be pretty good in the money, and I had a couple blow-ups at the end. So I just turned in my card and hopped in the car and left. I didn't even look and see where I finished or anything like that until this morning. So I got up this morning and just went online, and it's like, okay, there's 46 guys there. And after the first day, I was in like 16th place because I started off shitty. And then, but I moved up and got into 6th, finished in 6th place, I guess. So I guess I won something, but I didn't even stay.
For a bad day, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't want to. I just knew I wasn't close to where I wanted to be, but. Anyways, got back, and it's that's the way golf is. You get a lot of real highs and a lot of lows, but I'll tell you the high that I got from that albatross that I had on Thursday was like, it was unbelievable. The endorphins that got released for some people that love this game, it's like something like that happens, and it's like, oh my god.
Well, yeah, that'll keep you playing golf for another few years. That's for sure. Chasing that back.
Just amazing. So
I know, I'm terrible at golf. I used to be actually a pretty good golf player back in the day. Just like I would just keep up with people.
Right.
My whole goal was to play the hole that I'm on. Keep the ball on my hole. And then I got hooked up to this computer, and I tweaked my swing, and that ever since then I cannot hit the ball at all. It just messed me up royally. My swing was crazy before, but it was my swing, and it worked for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Everybody's got their own. That's the thing about this game. It's
and they tried to fix me, and they broke me, and it was frustrating to where I just kind of gave up on the game, and I'm just barely getting back into it. But when you hit that one great shot, you're like, okay, and you chase that the rest of the course.
It's the one that just gets you out there and thinking you can keep doing it again and again and again, and we find out over and over again, okay, no, we can't keep doing it over and again and again and again.
But it's a lot of mental processing, right? And mental reinforcing good habits, right?
It is. It's just, you think about it. It's like when I came back this morning, I finally sat down and really went through everything and was going through it. And it's just, I really identified that it's the first 5 holes that are just, I've got to figure out how to get better in that portion. That's where my real weak link is. And, I'll figure it out. I had a bunch of birdies and, just some real good stuff, but just not enough.
But, it's a lot like life too. It's all about your attitude. It's all about your mental process. It's all about how you reinforce the positive and get rid of the negative.
And it's all about, you can prepare yourself as much as you want and be ready to roll. And, but sometimes, shit just hits you in the face, and it's just not exactly what you thought it was going to be, and you got to deal with it anyways.
Right.
Just like life.
Yeah, but one thing I've learned, I'm 56 years old. I think I always drop a few years, but I'm pretty sure. I was born in 1964. And one thing I'm learning as I'm getting older is, you could let things affect you and tear you down. Or you could just look at it as a learning experience of life. And, emotions and feelings and pain and pleasure and all that stuff, these are all just experiences. So just experience it. Live in the present, experience it, and don't let the downs get you down, and don't let the highs get you too high. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me reinforce that by letting everybody know, you might look in here and go, wow, these guys are it's great for them. They're, they've been able to do this for a while, and they probably never had any problems in their life. Yeah, I can tell you, back in
That's a
the
whole other
early,
show.
yeah, back in the early 90s when I had my biggest success. Hold on a second here. I built my business up to 5 offices, 300 guys working for me, doing $60 million a year. Okay, life was great. Life was really good.
Right.
I'm vacationing with my family out in Hawaii at the Grand Wailea, and I get a call from my attorney. Changed my life forever. And this is back before they only had fax machines, no email or anything, right? So he calls me up and he's like, the SEC didn't like the way we were raising money, and they've frozen all of your assets, personal and corporate.
Wow.
$11 million. Okay.
Damn.
Everything. Put me out of business. Okay.
Wow.
Start all over. Okay. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of scar tissue from that. There's an awful lot of scar tissue from having to deal with that. But it's like, at the end of the day, you got to get out, and if you want to be a champion, it's like in boxing. If you think you're going to be a heavyweight champion, you're going to get punched in the face a few times. You want to be successful as a business owner,
right,
or entrepreneur. You're gonna find that things don't always go the way that you want, and you just got to figure out what to do from there. And we've all had ups and downs, and it's
and learn from it, and don't you can't run a business on hope. I tried that; it doesn't work.
No,
you gotta, and you can't do the same thing every time, especially if those times before ended in failure. You got to change something.
Yeah, it's kind of like the analogy I like to use is like it's almost like driving, right? You need to have a rear view mirror because you need to know what's behind you. Okay.
Yeah.
You need to know what's behind you just so you don't do something stupid and make something happen. Okay. And cause yourself an accident. Okay. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you want to have any success, you better be paying attention to what's in front of you, and you got to keep going forward. And a lot of times we spend too much time living in our life in the past and, talking about what, if it was only like this or whatever. It's like, we need to learn from the past and just keep moving in the future, because there's a lot of great things going on out there.
There is. And you know what? And when you're in the present, enjoy the present and be grateful. I've really this year tried to install more gratefulness in my life, and it's life changing. I wake up relaxed. I go to bed relaxed. My stress level is way down because I'm absolutely grateful for everything that happens to me throughout the day. And I try to encourage myself and anybody I'm around. I try to say a positive word, encourage somebody. If they got a dream, I want to, if I can give them some words to help them towards their dream, I do that because that's why we're down here. If we're going to change our living environment, if we're going to change America, if we're going to change North America, if we're going to change the world, we could do that one at a time, but you have to get off the couch.
And take responsibility for yourself, right?
Yeah, and education.
Nobody's going to do it for you.
Yeah,
nobody's going to do it for you.
Nobody's going to do it, and you can't. You're like, oh, I'm just one person. I can't do it. One person can make a great impact, even if you just impact one other life, because you don't know, that life could impact 1 million lives. You never know who you're going to do, who you're going to affect, that, and who they are going to affect, because that replication process is amazing, and it all boils down to, especially in this new world. And I will show you something today, some headlines I read across that education is key to change, and we got to educate ourselves, and then we got to educate our friends and family and our associates and so on, and that will change the world. It will change our living environment. It can change our government. It can change our healthcare system, our financial system. Right now, I believe our financial system is in transition. The old way is not working anymore. They're trying to pump it up. It keeps failing. And I believe, and this new wave coming in, which is blockchain, Bitcoin, that's the future of commerce, is something you need to get educated on, because that's our future.
Absolutely. Tony Robbins has been a mentor and coach of mine for over 35 years now. And, Tony really puts this real succinctly. I think he says, don't look at so much where you're really so much trying to get. If we can just get 1% better every day, we work on stuff, just get 1% better, spend some time, learning in the different things. At the end of the year, you're not 300% better, because you got a lot of compound interest on that. you know.
Right.
It's just that little bit of daily growth, and this business. Let's talk about what everybody's seeing in the Bitcoin headlines. It's an interesting week. We had Coinbase went public last week, and now they're the most valuable exchange in the world. Okay, yep. Go figure, right? We had a lot of ups and downs in the marketplace. One of the things that I was reading this morning that I thought was pretty interesting is a lot of people are thinking that people have been selling some Bitcoin and throwing money at the Doji coin, right? It's been just doing all this wild stuff. It's got 800% in like the last whatever days, right? And if you think about it, that does make a lot of sense, because when it's almost like the Reddit thread that got the GameStop going and stuff like that. When these little things like this that start happening, okay, this is almost like that. It's like the GameStop little play, whatever, over here in digital currency. You're going to see people that are going to take some profits. They're going to sell it, and especially when you can take a ride on stuff that's pennies. It's not like it's costing you a lot. So you can get a lot of shares, or if they move, you can see that kind of momentum. So I can understand that usually when you see real big dips in the in the cryptocurrency space, it's global, right? If you go to CoinMarketCap and you see it's red with everybody, like they're all red. Okay, you don't see one going way, way, way up and other ones going down. And if you do see one going way up, then you got to kind of figure that some of the money that's coming out probably going back in over there.
Yeah. Yeah. In every market, in every supply and demand type of market, there's corrections. And a lot of the corrections is, for lack of a better term, is to take out the stupid decisions. People that just did stupid things. There's also a headline I read over the weekend too, is there's about $10 billion in leveraged Bitcoin that basically you took it's like a margin call that happened, and that so a lot of selling happened to pay back those margins, and that's only the good thing about that. It gives us buying opportunities. So it just that's another educational moment. Is if you're going to go in the leverage world, which I think is great, I do it all. I do it every day. But you don't over leverage. Leverage is like, picture leverage. Where you have a stone, and then you got a big long board, and you're trying to pick up a big rock. And the longer the board, you can pick up. A few people can pick up a heavy rock. But if the board's not strong enough, or the rock's too heavy, you're going to break the board. So you just got to be careful. You got to be smart about it. Don't over leverage. But use leverage because it's a great tool out there, and it's a great way to do it. You just said invest in other coins. That's how I invest in other coins. I don't sell my Bitcoin to do that. I leverage my Bitcoin and get into higher risk coins and stuff, and the upside's great. And the downside, you manage that risk.
Right.
Hey, can you share my screen?
I believe I can. No, can't you share down there?
I can. When I do full screen, it messes up sometimes. But
if I share, it's going to share mine.
Okay, I'll share my screen then. Let me get it here. Share screen.
Yeah, and then I add to it here.
There, you can unshare it. All right. So here's something. Can you see this, Steve?
Here, and I have to do that now. Yes.
So here's something I was reading this morning, actually, and this is just at looking at the U.S. financial system as a whole, and you kind of have to read between the lines here. So our system is based on debt. It's ever since we moved off the gold standard, our system, our fiat dollars, is based on debt. And if you look at this graph here, if you look at this graph here, I guess I got to drink some more coffee.
There you go. I'm with you.
The debt and deposits are pretty much in line with each other. That red and blue line there. I think that's blue. Yeah, blue.
Right.
And then you look over about a year or so, a couple of years ago, it starts splitting because the government started printing a ton of money and putting it out there, but the loans were not keeping up. And you see the red line going way up. That's the deposit. And then the blue line is the loans, and they've actually kind of gone down or went flat. And there's about $2.5 trillion difference between deposits and loan right now, which is a disaster for a debt-based system. So my whole point is showing you this You don't have to be an economics major, or I'm not. I just read and try to interpret things. It is the system's broken. Our current system is not working. They're trying to hold it up. They're printing more money, printing more money, printing more money. That's why Bitcoin price keeps going up, because it's making up for the inflation, and it's going to break at some point. It's already, a few years ago. We lived through that whole banking stuff where we bailed out everybody. We can't do that all the time. It's going to just crash. The beauty part is there's something better that's come, and it's in the world right now, and it's starting to be adopted worldwide. And here's some other headlines I thought were pretty important, or just shows that the adoption of the Bitcoin network is worldwide, and it's growing on an everyday basis. Switzerland introduces a new payment method with Bitcoin. Now Payments, which is a large merchant company, offers way to easy to receive crypto payments on Shopify, which is the biggest small business entrepreneur commerce website in the world. About 5 million Swedes are Bitcoin owners without their knowledge, because the Swedish government put some of their treasury and they went and bought Bitcoin. And here's a great one. Wyoming sets the pace in shaping the U.S. crypto future, because they have a new limited liability autonomous organization. It's called an LAO. So when you're creating a corporation, Wyoming is really setting the laws up to favor Bitcoin and blockchain companies. Which is, if you're going to start a corporation stuff, Wyoming is an excellent place to go. In fact, I had the opportunity and the honor of sitting in on the government's the governor of Wyoming's task force on when they're shaping their blockchain and Bitcoin legislation. In fact, our corporate lawyer for the company I'm a CTO in he was the chair of that committee, and he invited us there. And they took a lot of input from entrepreneurs and business people and shaped their Bitcoin and their blockchain legislation there, and a lot of other states are copying that. So, little tip to you, if you're going to start a company, Wyoming's a great place to do this. And I want to end with this. The BlackRock is the largest managed funds in the world. You can see in the headline there, CNN, BlackRock now has 8.7 trillion under asset management. And the CEO acknowledges that cryptos are becoming a great asset class, and he personally owns Bitcoin himself. So the Bitcoin as a network is growing tremendously. Let me see if I can get back to where I want to go.
Now, Doug, I was reading, has the SEC fully approved the new ETFs?
No, the new SEC chairman who just got sworn in or just got appointed is very pro blockchain and promised to get that done in a swift manner, but it has not happened yet.
Okay, so that's another reason, and a lot of people were thinking that was already going to happen by now, right? Where'd he go? We lost Doug. Hey, Doug. Well. Let's see. All right. So let's see. Well, Doug, there he is. He's coming back here, I think.
There I am. Sorry, hit the wrong button.
We lost you there. There you go.
Yeah, sorry about that. What were you saying, Steve?
I forgot. What was I saying?
You were about the SEC chairman.
And, yeah. I thought that, a lot of people had expected by now that the ETFs were going to be, started this quarter, right? A lot of people thought that was going to happen, and that hasn't happened yet. And when that does, that's really when there's going to be just some huge money that's going to pour into the market almost instantaneously.
Yeah. And it's, it's happening anyway because everybody wants a piece of Bitcoin.
So what are the funds out there now? Because there are some sort of funds that are out there that include Bitcoin. If they're not these ETFs, then what are they, and how are they able to structure it that way instead of?
It's a mutual fund.
Okay.
So there are mutual funds. I forget the name of the company, but it starts with a G. The ticker symbol is a G, and then the crypto signal. So it's GBTC for Bitcoin and GETH for Ethereum. And that's the one I showed you my brokerage account where I put $250, and that was what I invested in, is GBTC.
Okay.
So it's a great way if you already have a stock account to invest in crypto. You don't own the crypto; you just invest in a fund that owns the crypto. So they get the large benefit, but at least you get some benefit.
So are there hedge funds out there that are investing in crypto yet?
Oh yeah, I mean if there's a great video, and I'll post it. I don't have it for today's meeting, but I'll post it in tomorrow's meeting with Michael Sayer from MicroStrategies, where he's interviewing one of the largest hedge funds out there that has moved up to, at that time, which was January or maybe December, it was $6.7 billion into Bitcoin, and he had another $6 billion in the pipeline.
Wow.
And this is a guy who runs, it's a fund that's behind the scenes that basically insurance companies, companies with retirement funds, labor companies, the labor, unions and stuff like that, and school unions. And he invests that kind of money.
Okay.
And they invest with him, and he managed it. So he opened up a Bitcoin, fund, and it took him to raise his first $1 billion. It took him 90 days. To raise his second $1 billion, it took him 6 hours, and so on. And so it's a great little interview. It's also really good. It's a great training on Bitcoin, because even though they're at a very high level, and both these guys are very intelligent, they talk at a level that I understood,
Okay.
and it gives a great explanation. And I'll get that link. You can just if you go on the YouTube and just type in Michael Sayer and MicroStrategies, there's a ton of videos on there. All of them are very informative.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I think that's probably it for today. I got a whole bunch to do since I've been gone for a few days here. Back in the saddle again. So we should be here first thing bright and early tomorrow morning.
Yep. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thanks for everything.